The purple sands of planet Zerion stretched endlessly under twin crimson suns. Lisa Carter had never seen anything like the ancient temple before her. The massive stone structure rose from the desert like a sleeping giant, covered in strange symbols that seemed to glow in the alien sunlight. Lisa wiped sweat from her forehead and adjusted her expedition pack. She was part of the first human diplomatic mission to this distant world. The local aliens called themselves the Karathi, and they had invited humans to witness something they claimed was impossible. Commander Zeth walked beside her. His blue skin shimmered in the heat, and his forearms gestured toward the temple entrance. The Karathi leader was tall and elegant, but Lisa could see worry in his silver eyes. "We have tried for over 1,000 cycles," Zeth explained as they climbed the temple steps. "Every warrior, every scholar, every leader of our people has attempted to lift the blade of ancients. None have succeeded." Lisa nodded politely, but inside she wondered why they had brought her here. She was just a linguist, not a warrior. Her job was to study alien languages and help with translation work. Yet something about this place made her skin tingle with strange energy. Inside the temple, hundreds of Karathi aliens had gathered. They filled the vast chamber with whispered conversations. Their eyes followed Lisa as she walked down the center aisle toward a raised platform. At the center of the platform stood a simple stone altar. Upon the altar lay the most beautiful sword Lisa had ever seen. The blade was made of metal that seemed to shift between silver and gold. The handle was wrapped in leather that looked somehow familiar. The entire weapon pulsed with soft, white light. Around the platform stood statues of ancient Karathi warriors. Each statue held a different pose, as if trying to reach for the sword, but failing. The expressions on their stone faces showed frustration and defeat. High Priest Varn stepped forward. He was older than Zeth, with deep purple markings on his scaled skin. His voice echoed through the chamber as he began to speak. "Behold the blade of ancients forged by our creators before time began. Legend says only the chosen one can lift this weapon. The one who lifts it shall unite all worlds under their banner. They shall bring peace to the galaxy." Lisa felt hundreds of alien eyes watching her expectantly. She glanced at her human companions. Captain Riley stood near the entrance. Looking nervous, Dr. Hayes was recording everything with her scanner. But they all seemed to expect Lisa to do something. "Why me?" Lisa asked quietly. "I am not a warrior. I study words, not weapons." Zeth placed one of his 4 hands on her shoulder. "Human Lisa. Your people are young but strong. You think differently than we do. Perhaps fresh eyes can see what we cannot. The prophecy speaks of one from distant stars." Lisa approached the altar slowly. The sword seemed to call to her somehow. The white light grew brighter as she got closer. She could hear her own heartbeat pounding in her ears. The chamber had gone completely silent. She reached out her hand toward the sword handle, then stopped. What if nothing happened? What if she failed, like everyone else? What if this whole thing was just superstition? But something deep inside her urged her forward. Her fingers closed around the leather-wrapped handle. The moment she touched it, the world exploded with light. Power flowed through Lisa like lightning. The sword lifted easily from the altar as if it weighed nothing at all. The blade burst into brilliant flames that did not burn her. The entire temple shook with ancient energy. The Karathi aliens fell to their knees in shock, and High Priest Varn stared with his mouth open. Commander Zeth backed away with fear and wonder in his silver eyes. Even Lisa's human companions looked stunned. The sword showed Lisa visions of the past. She saw the ancient creators of this weapon. They were not Karathi or any alien species she recognized. They looked almost human, but with subtle differences. The visions showed them forging this blade with technology beyond comprehension. Then she saw the truth. The ancient creators were human, ancestors who had traveled to this galaxy millions of years ago. They had helped young alien civilizations develop and grow. But they had left behind this test, a way to identify when their descendants finally returned. The sword was not meant for any alien species. It was meant for humans who would one day find their way back to this distant corner of space. The blade recognized Lisa's genetic heritage and accepted her as worthy. As the visions faded, Lisa found herself standing before hundreds of amazed aliens. The sword felt perfectly balanced in her hand. Its flames had calmed to a soft glow, but the power still flowed through her. "The prophecy is fulfilled," High Priest Varn whispered. "The Chosen One has come, but you are not what we expected." Human Lisa looked at the faces around her. These aliens had waited over 1,000 years for someone to lift their sacred weapon. They had built their entire culture around this moment, but she was not one of them. She was something they had never imagined. Commander Zeth rose slowly to his feet. His silver eyes were wide with shock. "Human Lisa, what does this mean for our people? What does it mean for the galaxy?" Lisa felt the weight of destiny on her shoulders. The sword had shown her glimpses of the future, humans and aliens working together, exploring new worlds, bringing peace to countless star systems. But it would not be easy. She raised the sword high above her head. Its light filled every corner of the temple. The ancient symbols on the walls began to glow brighter than ever before. New passages opened in the stone, revealing chambers that had been sealed for millennia. "I do not seek to rule anyone," Lisa announced, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. "This blade was left by my ancestors as a symbol of unity between our peoples. Together we can explore the stars and learn from each other." The Karathi began to murmur among themselves. Some seemed excited by her words, others appeared worried. Lisa could understand their concerns. A young human had just proven herself worthy of their most sacred relic. But High Priest Varn smiled and nodded approvingly. He had spent his entire life studying the ancient prophecies. Perhaps he understood better than anyone what this moment truly meant. "The blade chooses its bearer wisely," he said. "You speak of unity, not conquest. This gives me hope that the prophecies speak true. The age of exploration can begin." Over the following days, Lisa worked with Karathi scholars to unlock more secrets of the temple. The sword opened ancient chambers filled with star maps and technological blueprints. The ancestors had left behind plans for faster ships, better communication systems, and ways to terraform new worlds. Captain Riley established contact with Earth Command. The news that humans had fulfilled an ancient alien prophecy sent shockwaves through human space. Everyone wanted to know what this meant for the future. Dr. Hayes studied the genetic scans the sword had performed on Lisa. The weapon had somehow analyzed her DNA and confirmed her ancestry traced back to the ancient travelers. This technology was beyond anything humans currently possessed. Lisa found herself at the center of everything alien. Delegations arrived from across the sector wanting to meet the human who had lifted the impossible blade. News reporters from dozens of species came to document the story. But Lisa remained focused on the bigger picture the sword had shown her. Visions of threats lurking in dark space. Ancient enemies of the Creators still existed somewhere beyond the galaxy. They would eventually return, and when they did, all the young races would need to stand together. She spent hours training with the blade, learning to channel its power. The sword could cut through any material, generate protective shields, and even heal injuries. But its greatest power was its ability to unite different species in common cause. Weeks passed and a plan began to form. Representatives from across the galaxy agreed to establish a new alliance. The United Worlds Coalition would combine the strengths of every member species. Humans would share their adaptability and determination. Other races would contribute their unique technologies and knowledge. Lisa stood once again in the ancient temple, but now she was surrounded by friends from many worlds. The sword rested peacefully in her hands, its work just beginning. The age of isolation was ending. The blade pulsed with warm light as if approving of what they had accomplished, but Lisa knew this was only the start. The real adventures lay ahead among distant stars waiting to be explored. Commander Zeth approached her one final time before the ceremony. "Ended, human Lisa. You have changed everything. Our people thought we were alone in facing the future. Now we know we have allies among the stars." Lisa smiled and looked up through the temple opening at the alien sky filled with unfamiliar constellations. Somewhere out there, Earth was shining under its own sun. Her species had found their place in a much larger universe. The ancient sword had waited over 1,000,000 years for this moment, when the first humans finally returned to claim their heritage and fulfill the prophecies left by their ancestors. The blade had chosen well. As the twin suns set over the purple sands of Zarian, Lisa Carter knew that her life would never be the same. She was no longer just a linguist studying alien languages. She was the bearer of an ancient weapon that would help unite the galaxy. The sword hummed softly in her grip, ready for whatever challenges lay ahead among the stars.